The story I'm talking about is from 1960s to 2000. Okay, the history I could never forget, and the world should not forget. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Daniel Olsen, a Chinese Norwegian living in Japan. From today on, I'm going to tell you my life story. I just finished my autobiography with the help of an American friend. My story starts from the 1960s to 2000. Okay, it's my personal story, but it's that part of the Chinese modern history. It means that you can take it as entertainment at the same time as a study of Chinese modern history. Okay, in the Chinese idioms we say, you throw one stone, kill two birds. Okay. What the story is about? The story is about a young Chinese boy. When everyone in China was fighting for survival, he was fighting for his own dream to become a world-leading violinist. Okay. It's about a countryside Chinese boy became a Hollywood star musician. Dream come true. Okay. Yes. The title of my book is called Father, Son, and Violin. All right. So I start by chapter 1. I cannot just read the book. It's not, it's a written language and the spoken language is different. So I try to read some of the book. At the same time, when it comes to the story, I use a verbal language. It's more vivid. I hope you like it. Okay. Chapter 1. My earliest memory of my family. 1. A terrifying white balloon. Okay, let's see what the white balloon is. The book starts like, everyone has one's own memory of childhood. My memory of childhood starts on a cobblestone paved road called the Blue Stone Road, 青石街 in Chinese. That's the main road 50 years ago and still is today, of Xinhua County in Hunan Province, southern China. I lived there in a house very close to the road with my family. When I refer my family, it was not a nuclear family consists of parents and their children, but rather my grandparents, my aunt, plus 2 uncles. I was the only child at home, so you can imagine the position as the core center of the family. I was actually spoiled. There are still many things I can remember so clearly when I was only 3 or 4 years old. The white balloon story was one of them. It takes place like this. One day, I found a small white rubber tube in a rubbish can. I picked it up and blew it into a balloon. I found it very amusing. And quickly I ran home, asked my auntie to use a rope to tie it. But as soon as my auntie saw it, my auntie was a high school girl at that time. Her cheeks flushed bright red and went panic. She looked like the sky was falling down. Immediately she called my little uncle C, the youngest uncle, and came quickly with some old newspapers in his hand. He took my treasure away and quickly ran towards the toilet. At the same time, my aunt pushed my back towards a wash basin. She was cautiously avoiding my dirty hands. It must be twice my uncle and 3 times or more times my aunt washed my hands. being the center of the family, how could that be tolerated? So I use my always method. Just glue my button to the ground. And no matter how hard my aunt tried to persuade me, I refused to get up. Instead, I was yelling, "My white balloon! My white balloon!" over again, until my uncle came quickly with 2 colored balloons in his hands. Okay, he replaced. It must have been more than 10 years I wondered why that white balloon was so terrible. My aunt was so terrified by that small balloon. Until one day I suddenly realized that white balloon was in no way a child's toy. It's of great importance when 2 adults exchange their love. And today, an absolute necessity more than preventing disease than preventing babies. You know what I mean now? I'm so sorry, Auntie. Poor end. Okay, the story now come to the main part now. Okay, in 1960s, I was about 6 years old. And that was the most horrible time throughout all of Chinese history, if not the history of the whole humankind. The entire Chinese nation was suffering from starvation. Yet I had little memory about hunger when I was in that family until one day I was taken by my father from that family to Changsha, my real family, I mean. There I grew up. Now, I just tell you the story how I left Xinhua, my grandparents, my auntie, my uncle, to Changsha with my parents. I still can remember very clearly the day after the usual lap. I went to Zijiang River again with my 2 uncles. I played sand, stones, and riverbank when my uncles were swimming. I have 2 uncles, okay? The eldest uncle called the Din. The Din is anti-revolutionary, very angry man. But Uncle Xi is the younger one, is very gentle and good-hearted person. And my father is the number one, the eldest brother of the family. And he was the only revolutionary of the family, okay? So 3 brothers completely complement, complete the character, okay? So my Uncle Din was seeing a sun. Where's the sun declining? You know, once the west sunset, when the sunset is always in the west and declining. Then he changes the lyric to "East the sun declining," you know. We all know East refers to China. So East declining, that's bad, you know, especially by that time in China it can be. All right. So by that time, I heard a voice calling me from my uncle, says, "Daniel." Daniel was my name, okay, Daniel. That's my Chinese name, Chen Daniel. Okay, "Daniel, your father is here. Quickly go home." That was the first time I heard father, the title father, because before that I never had a chance to call father. I left when I was only 2 years old. Okay, I barely could speak. Then I was 6. The 4 years I was in the only grandpa, grandma, you know, uncle, auntie, never father, mother. So that's new to me. So with no time to think, I was taken home and placed in front of a completely stranger. The stranger was very thin. Forgive me to overemphasize a little. He looks like a skeleton covered by a sheet of skin. And he side-glanced at me through his glasses, made me cold. Okay. Quickly, I hid myself behind my aunt. However, this time, My aunt pulled me out gently and pushed me again in front of that man. In addition, she said, call him Baba. Baba is a language in Chinese called Papa, okay, father. Every member of the family sat around the dining table, except my grandfather. My grandfather was a symbol of the family authority. So the grandpa's absence was rather unusual. I really wondered why suddenly my grandpa said he felt a little bit uneasy. Instead, my father took my grandpa's place, sit there. Deadly silence. Okay, everyone was peeling the candy paper, chewing, made that sound extraordinarily noisy. Uncle C, okay, the youngest uncle, placed one candy into his mouth before the first one even finished. And he was moved. Better than nothing. What? My father responded. And Uncle C swallowed the candy in his throat and said, no more than a small bag of candy. I thought after so many years, my big brother coming home would bring us some rice or even meat. That's my Uncle C. My Uncle Dean has a completely different attitude. What do you think we are, kids? So Uncle Dean was the only one in the family did not take near of this sweet tasty candy. It means he did not taste any candy. And he lost his control at that stage. The whole family has had no rice for a long time. Every day we eat vegetables, sometimes even grass, tree leaves, and bark. It was very true. In 1960s, many places even has no trees, no barks, no grass. Okay? You cannot imagine. It is very true. Auntie captured the last 2 candies and handed them to Uncle Dean. Take them before nothing is left. Uncle Dean did not accept the rules of dignity. The 2 candies on the table in front of Uncle Dean captured all the eyes of the room, particularly the 2 eyes belonging to my Uncle C. For the sake of maintaining family-like atmosphere, my auntie's complaint was rather peaceful and soft. Though they are noisy, but what they say is true. Our family has been suffering from hunger for more than a year now. You are the eldest son of the family, and you are the only one who works for the government in the capital city of the province. In any way possible, you ought to do something to help the family. That's my aunt say something very gently, but she, made her point. Auntie's words were like oil pouring on Uncle Dean's fire. He shouted, "That's right, that's right. Not only do nothing to help the family, but also add your burden for us to carry." My Uncle Dean said burden, it means me. I was the burden. My burden? My father disagreed in a low voice. Yes, the boy is my son, but he also belongs to the country. Father's voice was growing louder and louder, a little by little, okay? It is our great leader, Chairman Mao, who called on our nation to have as many children as possible for the use of war. For the use of war. We followed his great teaching to having 4 children. That's why I said they are not only our children, but also children of the country. In this sense, everyone in this country has obligation to raise them. Okay, thank you, Father. You're absolutely correct. Nonsense! You make children for the use of war anymore! My uncle now was furious. My uncle heard, you make children for the war. Of course, he was not happy. Grandma saw things were getting too intense. She stood up, was trying to make the balance. Stop! That's enough. It's not easy for all of us to sit together at the same table. Okay? Can we just be more like a family? She carefully collected these 2 candies left on the table and exchanged eyesight with Uncle Dean, making sure Uncle Dean in no way wanted to eat it. Okay, I will use these 2 candies, make some sweet water so we all can share. All right. After everybody was quiet for a while, my father slowly, deliberately cut a letter-heading paper into 8 small, equally sized pieces, and then opened a small metal box, took out some loose tobacco, okay, put them into the middle of the small paper and rolled himself a horn-shaped cigarette. He lit the cigarette and deeply inhaled 3 times. As he couldn't find any good excuse for not helping the family, he decided to make his voice half official jargon, like, now our nation is temporarily in difficulty due to 3 years of natural disaster, plus the Soviet revisionism and other imperial countries that have us by the neck. Not only our family, but the whole country, include the capital cities of the province, even the central government, everybody is short of food. Haven't you heard? Our great leader, Chairman Mao, also has stopped eating meat after he heard many of our class brothers and sisters lost their lives from starvation. Wow, so many people passed away because of starvation. Our great leader, Chairman Mao, stopped eating meat. That's the end of the world. Terrible. Okay, be serious. It is said from 1958 to 1961, 36 million Chinese lives were lost. Of course, some experts say 38 million. Some people saw less. Chinese government says, oh, no, it's only 20 million. But it seems that a couple million people, doesn't bother Chinese very much. We have so many people, so we will care less. But what is the number of 36 million people? It means the First and the Second World War combined. The whole world. Okay, the whole world in 2 wars lost life in such many years. Same number happened in China in peaceful time, 3 years. Okay, I can't do anymore. Okay, sorry, this is just shocking. Okay, thank you for listening, and I hope you like it, and I will continue next time. Thank you. It's too much for me today. Thank you. Bye-bye.